What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Unhinged Talk. This is a little bit of a different format than you're used to listening to us on. Joined by three guests today: Brandon Kramer, Paraskevas Xenophontos, I believe you pronounce his last name, and Brian DeGennaro.
What's up, guys?
How you guys doing?
It's past everyone's bedtime.
So, this is a new format that we're going to try to mess around with. Recording on Zoom. Zoom is currently taking over the world. If they're public, you should buy their stocks. Yeah, we're going to be doing video and audio. So if you're listening to us on Spotify, hello. If you're listening to us on YouTube, you could see our beautiful faces. Probably the first time you're seeing a lot of our faces. Match the names to the face, make it a little special. We're going to be doing these either every other night, every night. We'll see where it goes. All of us are stuck in quarantine. So especially Brian, stuck in Ground Zero in New Rochelle out there.
Oh, yeah, it's great over here.
Brian has been quarantined for the last year.
Brian was quarantined even before the coronavirus. So that's where he stands.
I pre-quarantined.
You saw this coming way long ago. But what we wanted to touch on tonight was basically just one Yankee topic in particular and then see where life takes us from there. There's really no news as of late. The only thing that I could really think of is the fake rumors of the Yankees moving Judge from the outfield due to his recent injuries, which I'll start off by saying I think that that's a completely ridiculous statement to start out. I couldn't imagine the Yankees ever moving one of the best defensive right fielders just because of injury concerns. And if it's because of injury concerns, what makes you think he's going to fare any better at first base where he's going to be constantly moving his legs? Brian, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, any of the injuries that he's had haven't really been because he's been playing right field. I mean, there's the broken rib, which might have come from a dive that he made, but who's to say that he wouldn't be diving at first base,
Yeah.
So that doesn't make any sense to me.
Don't forget he missed a lot of time while getting hit in the wrist. Back, when was it, May? And he was out to July with a fractured wrist.
Which also had nothing to do with being in the outfield.
Also, Bellinger I think he dislocated his shoulder twice last year playing first base. So if he already has shoulder issues, first base would make it worse.
And that also goes back to the recent comparisons that have been done between Judge and Bellinger. I guess because people really have nothing but time on their hands, so they're just comparing players. So let me ask you guys, if you had to pick right now, heading into the future, are you taking Judge or Bellinger?
Well,
I know it's tough.
Judge.
You'd go Judge?
Because technically he is the 2017 MVP of the American League, so they're both tied with that.
I mean, I would have to look deep into the stats, but personally,
I got a guy for you with all those stats if you want one.
Is it Dan Rourke?
No.
Do not mention his name because I will kick you.
Yeah, it's an unknown name at this moment.
It's an unknown name that we might speak of one day, but the day's not today. Brian, who are you taking, Judge or Bellinger?
It's really gonna put me on the spot like this. I'm gonna go Judge. Honestly, I think he's the better player. I think talent-wise, there's no question about it. The only question is longevity.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, you got to go off pure talent because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, Bellinger could, throw out his elbow, could ruin his shoulder. You never know what's going to happen. So I would just go with Judge.
Bellinger has a beautiful swing.
Yeah.
In Yankee Stadium, that would be beautiful.
Oh yeah.
That'd be a second deck home run.
That's 50 home run season every year.
I actually have the stats right now. Someone tweeted
what kind of stats? No W Obama, right?
No, I mean, it gives plate appearances, average, home runs, on base, slugging, all that shit. Besides Bellinger having more plate appearances, slightly better average, one more home run, about 42 more RBIs, better slugging by .001. Judge is better on base, OPS plus, WAR, and a lot better on defense with Judge has a 45 DRS, and Bellinger has 23.
Yeah, I think it's as simple as if Judge had been healthy for these past 2-3 seasons, there wouldn't even be a conversation. Judge would
That's one of his
it would be
biggest
more of a
cons.
comparison. Yeah, it would be more of a comparison between Judge and Trout, because when Judge is healthy and he's up there with best in the game, and so is Bellinger. But like, he would just be next level, you know.
The year off at, he really kind of just went down.
When Bellinger first came into the league in 2017, did he start off as an outfielder or first baseman?
I think he was first base.
You can probably find that out.
Yeah, I want to say he was first base, but either way, he's still versatile.
Still a great talent.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say that settled the Judge Bellinger debate. It's not really much of a debate, if you ask me. But another thing I wanted to touch on was where we see the season going from here, because I know that Toronto recently passed a law that like it banned public gatherings through June 30th, which kind of means that there's not going to be any baseball until at least after then. And then it came out that MLB was kind of thinking of a July 4th start date, which I think would be really optimistic if you ask me, especially considering everything that's going on. So do you guys think baseball is going to be played this season? Because I think I'm skeptical at this point.
I don't think it's going to start, because if you're starting on July 4th, that's late. You're also going to probably have to play 2 doubleheaders a week. That's a lot. I mean, yeah, doubleheaders are fun, but still, imagine what that does to the players. And baseball, I know everyone would love baseball into the later months, but you got to start thinking realistic, because then you're going to have to cut their off-season short the next year. So, and we don't know when this thing's going to slow down.
And also, don't forget the World Baseball Classic is next year, so that shortens spring training even more. So,
but realistically, I don't think they should do the full 162-game season. I think it should be like an 80, 70-game season. You could start in mid-July or July 4th and play into the end of September. That way you can still have that October playoff field and not having to go all the way into December, because it's just roadkill right now if you're trying to put a whole 162 games, because the viewership in December is not going to be the same. If you're going to have Christmas, you're going to have end of the NFL season, you're going to have Christmas games with the NBA. So all that viewership you'll have on Fox and all those other channels, it won't work out. So either you want baseball in a shortened season, or you're not going to have baseball at all. And I think people would appreciate those 80 games of baseball that leads into October rather than not have the game at all.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to do 162. That's not going to happen. No. But, I mean, you guys bring up a good point, because if the season extends later this year, then you got to cut the off-season short, and that's going to be an issue as well. The players aren't going to want that. The union's not going to want that. And, frankly, it's not good for the players anyway, because especially with the Yankees, with all these injuries that they've been having, you don't want to shorten any time off that they get. So,
yeah. Because I think the World Baseball Classic is the week before the season starts.
It's a long thing, but some players can, if they're not playing in the WBC, they can just continue to do spring training normally. Because I remember Didi was with the.
It's during spring training.
Yeah, he was with the Dutch team, but Didi got hurt during it.
I remember that, and then everyone was like all up in arms about everything. But would you want the Yankees participating in the World Baseball Classic? Because for me, it's like I feel this like it's the same situation with like the Home Run Derby. Like, if they choose to do it, sure, like, I'll watch it and support them. But I'd rather they don't, just for injury purposes, and it doesn't really matter in the whole gist of things.
Honestly.
Yeah, I don't want them playing.
It was a lot of fun to watch in 2017. But, I mean, one of our players did get hurt. And
the World Baseball Classic is awesome. Like, I think it's super underrated.
It was.
It's great.
In 2017, what the probably thing I remember the most was Nolan Arenado literally diving headfirst at first base after a
I remember
ball, after a drop third strike, because needed the run to score, and he just went. I don't even think he slid. He just kind of just Superman dove, and I mean, could have hurt himself, but still, I mean.
And Adam Jones made that crazy catch from Machado. I think Machado hit it, right?
Clippard was pitching. Clippard was pitching.
Yes, Tyler Clippard. That was before he turned into just Carl Pavano with the Yankees.
I'm not gonna lie. If the World Baseball Classic is played next March, you can guarantee Judge and Stanton will be on that USA roster without a doubt.
Yeah,
No.
I hate that.
I don't know if Judge will be.
Honestly, it's weird
really
because the
don't
last
know.
time they had a super team, I'm trying to remember when the super team
Was it 2006?
Yeah, either that. It was like
I know
Jeter.
they had like Jeter, A-Rod, David Wright might have been on there.
It was no, in 2009. Wright was also on it, and that's when Wright went off.
Yeah.
But we had a super team once, and I actually don't think they won. I think they lost.
Well, to be honest, like I think it was in 2017. It was either I know they were both stacked, but I think it was the Dominican team that I looked at, and their lineup was like an all-star team, and somehow USA beat them. And we didn't have like all-stars. I remember it was like Ian Kinsler, who else? Jonathan Lucroy might have been the catcher.
Yeah, we had Posey. Our rotation wasn't great. I mean, you had Stroman who turned it up. You had Drew Smiley.
Yeah, I remember.
We didn't have a overwhelming pitching staff, and the other teams were stacked because to the U.S., yeah, it's big, but to the other teams like the Dominican Republic and Cuba was in it as well. That it means a lot more. It means a lot more.
You guys want to hear this? The 2006 World Baseball Classic team, it had Roger Clemens, Al Leiter, Brad Lidge, Joe Nathan, Jake Peavy, Huston Street, Dontrell Willis, Jason Varitek, Derek Jeter, Chipper Jones, Derek Lee, Rodriguez, Teixeira, Utley, Michael Young, Johnny Damon, Ken Griffey Jr., Matt Holliday, Vernon Wells. And that's a majority of the team.
Damn. And they didn't win, did they?
I think the final was Cuba versus Japan.
Damn.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because Gurriel was in it. Yuli Gurriel was actually in it.
That's a Hall of Fame team.
Yeah. Literally, there's probably
10
Hall of Famers on that team, at least.
At least.
And they didn't win.
Japan won. Japan beat Cuba.
Yeah, look at you, man.
What round did USA make it to?
I think.
Right now. But you want to know who was the most valuable player of that whole
Daisuke
Classic? Daisuke Matsuzaka.
Wow, I remember him. He was a beast with the Red Sox for a while.
The whole conspiracy with the gyro ball.
Yeah. The Red Sox always, for some reason, they always seem to get the Japanese pitchers. They had Matsuzaka, and then they had Uehara, right? Closer, 2013.
Yeah, but he came up with the Orioles.
That's right. I feel like they had another Japanese pitcher, but he flopped.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
A-Rod hit a bomb off of him in like I want to say, was it 2009?
That wasn't Matsuzaka. Oh, Tozawa. Yeah, Tozawa.
USA was eliminated in the second round.
Wow.
Yeah,
to who? Paraskevas is the stat guy.
It's the follow-up questions that are the killer ones.
They lost to South Korea, I believe. No.
What?
No.
I think they had Chu.
1 second.
Who has an ambulance driving by their house right now?
It's probably me.
Yeah,
all I remember is that
over there.
Well, the U.S. could have a stacked team. Also remember that Zach Britton could choose to play with the Dominican Republic. Freddie Freeman played with Canada in 2017. Rizzo played with Italy in 2013.
Well, Judge would play with USA. He doesn't.
Judge would play.
Yeah. But
so would Stanton.
Stanton played with them in 2017.
Stanton could play with what? Puerto Rico, though, right?
But Stanton played with the U.S. in 2017, so I would see him return.
Yeah. I wouldn't want him to, though, to be completely honest with you.
I don't want either.
But that's a story for another day. But yeah, it was nice talking about the World Baseball Classic. I was not expecting a conversation about that
on our Yankees podcast.
There's nothing really to talk about at this moment.
Yeah. One thing that I was thinking of today, though, is a complete game changer for the Yankees if and when the season does start. Aaron Hicks is a complete X factor for the Yankees. Like, if you look at their lineup, it's so one-dimensional. It's like 95% of their lineup is just right-handed power bats. If you insert Aaron Hicks into there at leadoff or batting third as a switch hitter who slaps the ball all over the field and can fucking drive one right over the wall, that changes the game for them. And I don't think people are realizing how crucial he can be to their lineup in 2020.
They could bring him back early, in the way of having him DH, just like with Ohtani, since he's a hitter and a pitcher. They brought him back early just to DH. You could, you would mess up the stuff with Andujar and everything, but you could bring him back a bit early to DH and then have his arm recover and everything.
Yeah.
He might not even need to at this point. By the time if the season does come back, he might be fully healthy.
Well, because he was set to come back in July anyway, right?
Yeah, June or July.
Yeah, so
honestly, August was probably what I was expecting. So they rushed Didi last year.
Yeah, and that didn't work out.
That's a story for another day. How disappointing Didi was.
Haven't the Yankees always had the struggle in the last couple of years having a lot of left-handed batters in the lineup? It's more righty power than it is.
Yeah. And now it's all righty power, and there's no left, especially now that Didi's gone, and who knows what you're going to get out of Brett Gardner this year.
We all know you love Brett Gardner, Pat.
Let me just go on the record here in case for any of our viewers who are unaware of my relationship with Brett Gardner. I have nothing against the man personally. Do I think that he's one of the most overrated Yankees of the past 20 years? Yes. Brett Gardner has never done anything in the playoffs. He's had his, few share of at-bats. I think he has a career 151 postseason batting average.
He's awful in the postseason.
So I'm just sick and tired of the people that act like Brett Gardner deserves a plaque in Monument Park because
he can lay down a bunt like nobody else.
I mean, it blows my mind when I see people on Twitter. Yankees Twitter is also a topic for another day because I can go off about that for 40 minutes.
I think the last Brett Gardner home run was when I went to the 2017 wild card game.
He hit one in game one.
Yeah, he hit one in game one. I remember I was there. Honestly, with him, it's always he does decent in that first round, and he shits the bed.
And also, it's whenever I mention Brett Gardner struggling in the postseason, people mention that one at bat in Cleveland. I don't care about the 10-pitch at bat he had in Game 5. One at bat out of how many? Come on. But once again, that's a story for another day. I don't think that Brett Gardner is going to be a key contributor in 2020. Name,
the stat guy, I believe he said that Brett Gardner's underrated. He's a top 5 player in all of baseball.
Yeah, so, I don't know if he was joking about that, but we have a stat guy let's just say we have a stat guy who's a member of our team that he has outlandish hot takes. He even mentioned that Craig Kimbrell is better than Mariano Rivera.
And that Gleyber Torres is an overrated second baseman at the age of 23.
I don't even know.
When your parents say eat your vegetables growing up and don't do drugs, take their advice.
Jesus. Well, so I think that we touched on everything I wanted to touch on today. Once again, our goal for this show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, whether you're watching us on Spotify, YouTube, whatever, we just want to provide you guys with daily Yankees content, especially with all the craziness that's going on in the world. We could give you 20 to 30 minutes a day of just us talking about Yankees baseball and just lifting a little bit weight off of all of our shoulders during this tough time. So I'm Patrick Hennessy. Probably know who I am by now. You could follow me on Twitter at Unhinged Patrick. Follow at Unhinged Yankees. If you guys want to shout out your Twitters too, so people can follow you.
You can follow me at PXENOPHONTOS 13. You can follow the Chicken Bucket Boys podcast. That's capital CBB _podcast on Twitter. And go give a follow to PX Media on the gram.
You want to shout out your whole life, don't you?
You want to give your home address too?
Social security number?
I'll give them Social Security.
Yep. It's always important.
Brian. You want to shout out
you can follow me. I'm at Brian DeGennaro. So
if you want to hear Brian Chris about the Giants about the Jets all the time, then his Twitter is the way to go.
Only during football season.
No, it's not during the football season. It's during the off season as well, Brian.
I think you guys should save this for the Chicken Bucket Boys podcast this week.
And then you could follow me at Brandon90009 and then follow at Earn Your Pinstripes. I think that's what it is. Something like that.
Great.
We're really good at this, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, we will see you guys maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. We'll keep you wondering. Have a great night, everybody. Stay safe.
And And wash your
Stay home.
hands.
Wash your hands.